comes before you. We are rolling. He's managing attention. He's looking out the window, communicating respect. He's reading, finding friendly eyes in the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
What's up, everybody? My name is Edgar.
Hi, Edgar.
Alright, so I've been working customer service for about 4 years now. I know a little bit about respect, but the thing about it is like it's been watered down. Because anybody's heard about the Getty Center? Down the street. So I work there, but it's like filled with a lot of like snobbish people. So they're really rude. So it's hard to be genuine and respectful to them. But with this experiment, I decided that I'll be genuine and I'll be like actually mean it, especially walking around campus. So I have a good, a bad, and an ugly. The good, I had to deal with customer service, but not directly with me. Anybody here is Togo's sandwich place? So they have some bomb-ass sandwiches. So I placed the order to pick it up at 3. Shut up at 3:05. I was like, let me give them 5 minutes to finish my sandwich. I got there, kind of busy. I walked in, it was my turn. I was like, oh yeah, can I pick up an order? She looked around and there was nothing there. She was like, oh, we have to make it. I was like, you know what, it's fine. I smiled at her. I was like, don't worry about it. She was like, oh, we'll get started right away. She started making it, and I just was having small talk with her, being nice to her. Then I started noticing she started putting extra meat. I was like, oh, she's about to hook it up, that's fine. So I kept like smiling at her, talking to her, she was like laughing. Then she got to like the condiment side. She was like, oh, do you want avocado guacamole? And I was like, oh, how much is it? She was like, it's $2. I was like, no, I'm good, like I'm broke, it's fine. But like she leaned over, she was like whispered, she was like, you know, it's free, I got you. I was like, oh, thank you. So I was like, yeah, like put some on there. So it kept going, and she was like, oh, do you want any sauces? I like my sandwiches spicy. I was like, yeah, can I get Chipotle sauce? She was like, yeah, it's fine. She put a little bit, and I was like, I like mine a little spicy, can I get a little bit more? You know, she went above and beyond and put like a lot, which was great. So it was time for me to pay, and I paid, and then they had these little punch cards where, like, after a certain amount of sandwiches, you get a free sandwich. So I gave it to her, and I needed 2 to get my free 6-inch. So, you know, I paid, and then when she came back, I was like, oh, can I get it punched? She's like, yeah. When she came back to me, I seen that she gave me the free sandwich, so I was like, so now next time I go, have a free sandwich. I got free guacamole and extra meat. So, you know, moral of the story, you know, it's good to be nice to people. Not just cause you get like something out of it, but like I've been on the other side where people are just rude and like it's bad, even if it's like busy, especially when it's busy. Like if you're busy at the museum, so it's good to just have like friendly faces, and, like have friendly like conversation with people and show them respect, because you know, it's a hard job to do, customer service. Bad experience. Bad. It was overall. UCLA students are pretty mean. They're always like mean mugging. They're always like being like disrespectful. So I was like, let me be genuine and like try to be nice to these kids. So I was walking on campus, you know, smiling at people. I got good feedback, and then there was a bad experience where I was walking down. I think it was Royce. I was walking back outside. So as I was walking, this girl was walking ahead, and I was like walking behind her. And then like she turned around to see like someone was coming behind her, so she could hold the door. So we made eye contact. I smiled, like we acknowledged that she was gonna hold the door, like that was an agreement. It's like I had my little power walk, and I was walking, and then she like just turned around and she walked out. And she like let the door slam, and I was like, it kind of got me by shock that she was like, we acknowledged that we were gonna hold the door. She was gonna hold the door, but then she broke her promise. She let the door slam on me. It was fine, like, you know. So more of the story, you know, sometimes you know, be respectful. You know, people don't see it, people don't reciprocate it. I was telling myself, I was telling her, I respect you by smiling at her, like doing my little power block. I'm not gonna make you stand there for a long time. But she didn't. I guess she didn't get the message. All right, ugly story. I work access control. Anybody heard of access control? People that swipe you up at night to keep y'all safe. So it was like the day after he assigned the experiment, and it was like a Wednesday. I don't know why, but people decided to go out and turn up on a Wednesday, second week. So people came back drunk, and it was like 1, 2 in the morning. And usually I'm like friendly with the drunk people. I'm like, hey, like I'm not gonna press you about it. If you come drunk, it's fine. As long as you're not sloppy, I'm gonna let you go up. So a couple drunk people came in. They were kind of rude. They were just like, I'll be like, hey, like how was your night? This and that. They'll just ignore me, hand me the card, go up. I'm like, it's fine. You don't want to talk, it's cool. But then there was one that came in. He was like kind of tilting side to side, and I was like, I'll let him go up. I was like, hey, like what's up, man? Like how was your night? And he just like looked at me. He threw his card at me. And I just looked at him. I looked down at the card, looked at him again, and he just stared at me. So I was like, can you hand me the card? So he picked it up, he gave it to me, and like he made this face, and I swiped him. Like, all right, have a good night. You know, I respect you. I respect that you have a good night. Just go to sleep now. But when I handed him the card, he like swiped it away. He like snatched it out of my hand, and that was very rude. And like he like questioned my faith, my religion, and everything, because I don't like when people like just snatch stuff from me, so I'm like, I just looked at him, I was like, I respect you, like just go to sleep, have a good night, that's fine. So overall, I learned that, you know, being respectful does go a long way, you know, it shows that you have good manners. It doesn't always work out your way, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but, you know, being respectful, you're a good citizen. Be a good citizen, everybody. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Silvio.
Hi, Silvio.
I really liked your speech. I think you're really good at connecting with your audience and like kind of keeping their attention, because you come across as like really friendly and just really likable in general. So I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Improvement.
Hi guys, I'm Anise.
Hi, Anise.
Yeah, you had a really great speech. The only improvement I would recommend is possibly not moving like back and forth so much. It's okay, just was a little bit distracting at times, but really good speech overall.
Right. Edgar, let's start with that. If you're going to move, let's move purposefully 3 times. You're kind of pacing. You're just kind of, you know, would be more purposeful and work better. You started with kind of a definitional comment about that and talked about working at the Getty Center, and that was all kind of strange, and about the snotty people there, and then but you decided to try to work this out or something, and that was sort of interesting, I guess. I wondered if you were going to tie back to the Getty Center story in the end, but I didn't get that tie back. So if you're going to start with the story, come back somehow to the story. On your Togo, that was your Togos, is that how you say it? That was your best story, and it's what I call the apple pie story. It's real good, and you got when people. You know, she really owed you for not having your order ready, and she really made it up to you, and that was really excellent. And I like the manner in which you tell your stories. I want to tell you, you have a certain style, and you want to, when you see yourself tonight on YouTube, see. If you want to have a variety of styles, maybe you'll want to have in different contexts a little less slang in your delivery and a little more serious tone if there was a more serious audience, and come across in a different way. But I love the way you come across for a student audience. It was really quite excellent, really. On the bad experience, the holding the door, you did your best and it wasn't going to happen, and this happens, and I just told you I had the same experience, and it happens. On the drunk, yeah, you've heard me say this many times. I have a real negative thing about trying to do this with drunks. I don't do drunks. They are impossible to deal with, and they're, you know this probably from personal experience. They're irrational and crazy and everything else. There's no joy in that. And so I'm sad that happens, and I'm sure you see this as these people come up late at night, and yeah. And I'm sorry, and that kind of those disrespectful attitudes tend to come out, you know, when inhibitions are lowered. You know, they really think they own the world. Sometimes, I'd like to see you, instead of a little pacing, walk 3 times. Overall, it was a charming speech. Thank you. Is that it?
I think I'm the last one.
Last one? Oh, one more. Huh? Okay, can you back up a little more there, Jonathan? Yeah, that's good. Too good. You can take 1 step forward. That works. Okay, he's managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm John.
Hi, John.
And let me start off with this quotation by this old professor I had a while back. His name was Professor Schneebly. He told me that respect should be given for the sake of respect. Now, I don't really think about too deeply about things like this, but this experiment forced me to really think about respect and how people communicate respect to each other on a daily basis. So I have 3 stories for you guys: the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's start off with the good. I have this friend, let's call him Clint. Clint's a great guy. He's always showing me respect, non-verbally and verbally. But on this particular day, Clint was having an off day. He was, I guess you could say he was in a bad mood. I decided that since I respect him, that I should show him that I respect him by treating him to a cup of coffee. So I go to Starbucks, I talk to the cashier, I smile and nod at him, show him signs of respect. And Clint, when he got the coffee, he smiled, very receptive to this gesture, and I'd say this was a good experience. I mean, everything went well, and well, I guess I learned that one small thing can really change someone's day around, even if it's just a cup of coffee. So this leads me into my second story, the bad. So the other day I was at Sawtell eating at a restaurant called Curry House. It was pretty good, with some friends. And as we were being seated, the waitress smiled at me, I smiled back. I repeated the mantra, "I respect you," in my head. I nodded, went through the checklist of how to be respectful to someone non-verbally. I even asked her about her day and how things were. But after we were done ordering, she told me that she wasn't interested, and at first I was a little confused and then embarrassed because I think I kind of gave off the wrong message. And yeah, I mean, I didn't make a big deal of it. I just went, oh, that's too bad. And then I just ate my food like normal and went about my day. So I guess this taught me that people can misinterpret your signs of respect. So I guess I thought maybe I should tone it down a little if I was too forward with my communication. So there's this last story, the ugly. It was my friend's birthday the other day. Let's call him Eastwood. It was Eastwood's birthday, and he had a few too many to drink of alcohol, and I mean, I respect him, and I mean, I didn't agree with the decision to go crazy and all out, since I warned him that it probably wouldn't be such a good idea. But I guess he wasn't having a good day either, and he decided to just drink a ton, and well, things went from bad to worse because he needed to regurgitate. I thought on my feet, quickly got him up to the restroom, I was a little too late. I got a little vomit on myself in the process of helping him, but I didn't like abandon him or anything because I respected him even though I didn't respect his particular like choice. But I still decided to stay with him and help him. So I learned that out of all of these like all these activities that I went through and like showing signs of respect, that one sign of respect is it can mean a big thing to someone, even if it's just a small thing. And tying back to what Professor Schneebly said, like how respect should be given for the sake of respect. I mean, to me, this means that like respect should be like this tenet of human decency, that you shouldn't be expecting anything out of it, but you should be giving it just because of like your good intentions and whatnot. And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you. Come on over here more, or no? Okay, we'll go. Have you spoken? No.
No. Hi everyone, I'm Gio.
Hi, Gio.
So John, I like your speech. I think you did really well trying to convey the messages that you have in your story. But I noticed you're kind of looking down forward for a good amount of time, so I think that would help if you try to connect more with your audience. And yeah.
Okay, we'll go over here, I guess. Here, okay, got improvement.
Okay, I also like your speech.
Start with your name, please.
Hi, my name is Becky.
Hi, Becky.
I also like your speech. I think there were some parts that seemed a bit flat, so maybe adding diversity more, but overall it was pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, a little flat. Okay. Well, you gave the quote from your professor, and you held off saying what it meant till the end, and I guess you could have said it slower and given your audience a chance to sort of ponder the meaning of it a little more in the beginning. You had a good preview. You told us the first way that you communicated respect was by doing an act of kindness by buying your friend Quint a cup of coffee, and he was pleased by this gesture of respect, right? So this was good. On the bad, you told us of how you combined the respectful attitude with some inquiries of her life and her day, and she interpreted this that you were hitting on her, and so she said, I'm not interested in you, and so it only points up what I've been saying many times, and this meaning is in the receiver, and if your motives are pure, you know, there's nothing to do about that. Your ugly story only, points up yet another ugly story of alcohol and what can happen. Yeah, and I think that I didn't get the role of respect here, except that you were just standing by your drunken friend. Was that the role of respect in all this?
Say that I was like helping him to the restroom and helping him like
right.
Make sure he didn't fall into the toilet. Yes, I did.
I see. Yeah. So that was respectful. And then, and I agree that the speech was a little bit terse, a little short. You could have worked it out a little bit more, had a little more detail. And so you said, what I learned, a little respect goes a long way, and people are likely to respect you back if you respect them first. And then you tied back to your professor, which was good. So what I would say is just work on fleshing out a little bit more detail in your next speech. Thank you. Is that it? One more, boy. No typewriter. Okay. Katya. who stands before you managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Well, hi everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Katia.
Hi, Katia.
Well, I would like to start by telling you guys that I was born in Mexico. I lived there 8 years. And the society over there works a little different, the culture too. We greet people with like a kiss on the cheek, with a simple good afternoon, even if we don't know the person. You know, if you're just walking by the street and they're outside hanging out, they'll be like, oh, good afternoon, and you reply back. That's not very common here, as I've noticed, and I've gotten used to that. Either way, I have practiced as much as I could, you know, nonverbal and verbal respect to others, even if I don't know them. But I hold back for various reasons. One, because I'm kind of shy, I'm introverted, and because having eye contact has been always like very awkward for me, because in Mexico, the cousins that I have and friends that I have, female friends, they do that to guys to flirt with. So it's like they stare at the guy and the guy stares back, and it's like, so I have that correlation with that, which is why I don't really practice it. But either way, you know, keeping this experiment in mind, I tried it, even more so than I already do. And I have a good, a bad, and an ugly story to tell you guys. The good story. Sorry, I blanked out for a bit. Alright, the good story. There you go. I was walking on the first floor on the hall of Young Hall, and it was late in the evening. It was 6, so there isn't a lot of activity going on. But I saw a guy from the other side of the hall walking, you know, walking towards me, and I was walking the other way. And he was looking down. He looked a little upset. I don't know. Maybe he was tired. You know, it was kind of late. So you know, keeping my the experiment in mind, I was like, okay, you know, as he passes by, hopefully he looks up, and I'll, you know, say what's up, a nod, smile, something like that. And he did. As he was approaching, he looked up, and I was able to smile and look at him, make eye contact. And he smiled, and he was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh wait, I was supposed to say something. I was like, oh no, wait, everything's good, you know, have a great evening. And he just walked away. I looked back, and he was looking up the whole time. You know, he wasn't looking down anymore, and I guess it brought him like a little bit of life that he was noticed, you know, and it's something that we always look for, to be noticed by others, right? So it kind of made me happy. Maybe I made his evening or whatever. So that was my good story. And as for the bad story, it's not necessarily bad. It's just, it was cute, but it was at an appropriate setting. I was going to attend a church service. I was already sitting down, and I saw this little boy playing with cars. And I wanted to say hi to him before, you know, the priest wasn't in yet, so we still had time. I said hi to him, I smiled, and he smiled back, and he just kept staring at me. And I was like, oh, well, he's cute, you know, I think he considers me a friend now. And the priest comes in, and the boy is like mocking my every movement and repeating every prayer that I say out loud. And so he was causing a distraction. And what he causes for like adults to be looking at me like, this is all your fault, couldn't you just not talk to him? And now he was all friendly with me. So he was a distraction throughout the whole time. But that wasn't really my fault. I mean, I didn't mean it that way. For the ugly story, it brings me back to that correlation that I have with like flirting and stuff. I was waiting on the bus stop for my bus to bring me to school. I commute every day. And there was this old man walking by, and I thought he was really cute, adorable. And so I smiled at him. I was like, oh, hello. And he just stood right in front of me and just stared at me. And I was just like, okay, I didn't know what to do. And he stood there for like, I don't know how many minutes. And I was just like, okay, I didn't know what to do. Where's my bus? But it got worse. A homeless person walked right behind him, saw him staring at me. He stood there for a bit and began catcalling. And he started calling me names and things, and he just walked away. And I had to take out my phone so that that old man would leave. And eventually he did, but it was very awkward, and it felt too long. It felt like 10 minutes, but it was probably like 1 or 2. So that was it. What I learned from the experiment is that even though you will show nonverbal and verbal respect to others, not everyone's going to take it the same way. As you saw, that young man in Young Hall and that old man and the homeless person in my ugly story. But that is totally okay. In conclusion, I'm going to keep being, you know, my respectful self. I think it's a very neat thing to do, and it's something I really like and appreciate for my culture. And hopefully, with the habit, more people start doing it, and it passes on, and we're not so surprised that it didn't take us flirting. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. 508. Okay, we're somewhere over here. Let's go here, yeah.
Hi, I'm Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Alright, so I loved your speech. I thought you had really good vocal variety, which I liked, and it kept me engaged throughout the whole thing.
Thank you, Emily. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Devin.
Hi, Devin.
I really liked your speech also. You were really engaging and you were really lively, and I like that. Improvement, because I know I do this too, just take deep breaths and try not to, just so you don't get out of breath.
Okay. Thank you.
Try to breathe more? Okay, good. Katya, let's talk about your speech. You talked about the culture that you came from, of the kiss on the cheek, and yet you also were cognizant of the females using the stare as a way to entice males to come to them, I guess would be a way to put it nicely. Then you gave us your preview. Your first story of the good was a good story of sweetening the day of a downtrodden young budding scientist in Young Hall, I guess, so that was good. On the bad, I guess you were just being respectful, being friendly to the boy. Is that? Did he have parents, or was he there alone? Was he homeless,
He
or
was sitting somewhere else, not with his parents. Yeah.
He was
there by himself.
So he was in church alone.
Well, his parents were there, but he did not want to be with his parents.
I see, and they weren't disciplining him or taking. He was out of control. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound like that was a byproduct of respect so much as lack of parental control. On the ugly, yes, I warned you and other females that the male species constantly misinterprets a smile, just a friendly gesture, as, she's in love with me and all this stuff. It's kind of sad. And so if you think that that's going to be a factor, then you can just limit the expression of the nonverbal to the mantra of I respect you without making the long eye contact or flashing the toothy grin or whatever, Anyway, overall, I think you understood and got the assignment and did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is that it?
Yes.
Okay, give yourself a round of applause. Okay, I think we can start a respect or two speech. Let's do one respect speech so you get the hang of it. Is there a volunteer to do a group, a volunteer respect group of two? Who has their intro speech? Who has their intro buddy, their study buddy in the house? Anybody dying to do this today? Is there anybody that doesn't have a study buddy? I'll ask that again. You don't.
I don't think he's here.
But has he dropped the class? Has he been in?
I haven't talked to him.
Do you have his email address, his phone number?
I'll text him.
Okay, so text him. Okay, anybody else? Okay. So you want to volunteer to go? Okay, let's do you really quickly. And your study buddy. Okay.
Are we both up there? Or
Yeah, you both go up there, yeah.
Great.
Do you have your computer here? You can I'll just post this on the respect. You'll see it at the tail end of the respect speeches. That'll be fine. We got away with that, I guess. Yeah. So, who's going first? Nellie or Esmeralda? Esmeralda will be first. She's managing attention, communicating. Yes, just stand there. Communicate.
Is she in a good position, or do you want her
Yeah,
closer?
she's fine. We just want to, put words that you'll be using. We want to glance over occasionally and know that, what she did, and when she cured cancer, we can look over and see, oh, that's who cured cancer, that kind of thing. Okay. Looking for 3 to 5 minutes. Rock and roll.
Hello, everybody. My name is Esmeralda.
Hi, Esmeralda.
The odds will not always be in our favor. People will not always think that we will be able to do certain things. The unlikely will happen, but we will have to deal with these unlikely probabilities. Today, I would like to introduce my study buddy and friend, Nellie. To do so, I will tell a story about her past, her present, and her future. I'm sure you will all enjoy getting to know Nellie as much as I did, because she's pretty nice and super awesome. So, traveling back in time to the past. When Nellie was a child, she used to do gymnastics. So 2 months before she went on a trip to Armenia for a month, she had her level 6 competition, which consisted of 4 events. 2 of the events, she did pretty good. The third event, the bar event, she was doing it, and her feet hit the bar. Dun dun dun. So she was falling, and so her coach caught her mid-air, and she was saved. The last event, the 4th event, was the most difficult of all, and that was the floor exercise. Nellie had just learned the skills needed for the floor exercise prior to the competition. Her coach said that it was okay if she did not want to do it because it was fairly the reason that she learned the skills. Another coach heard this and said that if she was going to die doing it, she still had the summer to come back to life. Nellie took this as a challenge, and she decided to go ahead and do the floor exercise. During the floor exercise, she had to do a backflip with no hands. And so, as she was going to do this, she felt her knees buckle, but they didn't. She felt like that, but they didn't. And so, as she was in the air, she had thoughts that she was going to fall. However, as she was in the air too, she heard the audience go like, "Oh, wow!" Nellie had done it. Before we go to the present, I think you guys need a little bit of background information. So it can be safely said that Nellie has been diagnosed with something of a One Direction obsession her mom did not precisely agree with or support. And so when this obsession started in high school, and there was also this point where she applied several times to be in the Ellen DeGeneres show to see them live. This year too, she had the opportunity to see One Direction live at the Rose Bowl. The most recent news concerning One Direction, however, was Zayn's recent departure from the boy group. And so, like many One Directioners, she was shattered and shocked at the news. Zayn, she also felt backstabbed like many other people in the fandom, because Zayn had said that he was leaving for personal reasons. However, not much time had passed when he released a solo. Who would have thought that Zayn would leave One Direction? Jumping into the future, Nellie wishes to go to medical school to study emergency medicine. Here, as you see her, she loves blood and gore, though she is no serial killer and would like to save lives. However, like other pre-med students, she is afraid of rejection, as lower division courses often weed out the weaker students. In summary, I have given you a story about her past, the present, and her future. In summary, you are probably wondering, how are these stories connected? Well, they all deal with unlikely probabilities. In the past, not a lot of people thought that Nellie would be able to do the black flip with no hands, but she did, and that was one of her shining moments. Nobody would have thought that Zayn was going to leave One Direction. It seemed unlikely, but he did. And it affected millions of fans. In the future, like Nellie, many other students don't think they will be able to go into medical school. The chances seem unlikely. However, she will. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Nellie Kukikian.
Thank you. 410 here.
Hi, I'm Samara.
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 Samora.
Samara,
Hi, Samora.
I thought your speech was really good. You were very animated, and I like how you told that to
Improvement.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
I really liked your speech. You had a lot of enthusiasm. I think one thing maybe is just a little bit more eye contact would make us feel a little bit more connected.
Yeah, Esmeralda, you did a good job. I really have little of way of improvement. I would say I like your enthusiasm. I like the use of your language where you said she's really awesome. I like the use of that. I like the drama that you put in your stories about hitting the bar and her coach saving her and her knees buckling. That was all good storytelling. So thank you for that. That kept it from being boring. The One Direction was good. I couldn't relate to it, but I guess others could. And so it was interesting, and it gave me insight into Nellie, so that was good. And the med school and the other stuff was interesting. It's hard to get a future story, I know that. So you said control your nerves, articulate your words better, and feel comfortable. I'd say just move 3 times more. But you did a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys know how weird it is to actually be standing there. It's hard, but I guess you guys will all go through it at one point. Should I start?
Yeah, in a second. Okay. You can take a step forward. Yeah. I'm short. Short people have no reason to live. Famous song, huh?
Oh, I've never heard of that one before.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, it was a big hit years ago. Okay.
I could stay in my room to like.
It was a satire. Okay, here we go.
Hi everyone, my name is Nellie.
Hi, Nellie.
So communication isn't everything in everything we do. We're constantly communicating with our friends through Facebook. Our eyes are communicating with the back of our head to send us visual signals. And different cultures communicate through each other through different mediums. So today I want to introduce you guys to my friend Esmeralda. I will be telling you guys 3 stories, one about her past, one about her present, and one about her future. I know you guys are really going to enjoy meeting her because she's really easy to talk to and super funny. So going into her past, Esmeralda was really close to her little brother, who was her little brother Daniel, who was 2 years younger than her. They would always be playing with each other. They'd make each other laugh. They'd make each other cry, and they'd always like to play hide and go seek with each other. So one time when they were playing hide and go seek, Esmeralda was helping her brother find a place to hide. So in her closet, there is like a top little section where she keeps her stuffed animals. So she threw all the stuffed animals down. She pushed her brother up into the little cavity, and then she hid her little brother with all these teddy bears so no one could find him. Sorry, my bad. And then she ran and went and hid herself. So when they went and found her, they asked her, "Oh, Esmeralda, like, where'd you hide your brother? You know, like, come on." And she's like, "I don't know where I hid him." So in that way, they kind of had each other's backs. So like, he had her back, she had his back. So in that communication sort of way, it all worked out for them pretty well. Going a little bit more into the future, I guess, saying now, Esmeralda, I don't want to use the word obsession because that was used to describe myself, but she's really into this Japanese cartoon called Naruto. She spent, yeah, I got some reactions back there, but 2 weekends ago she spent a lot of time watching. On Saturday she spent 12 hours watching, on Sunday she spent 8 hours watching, and on Monday she spent 4 hours watching, and if you add that all together, I guess you could say like she spent a day of her life just over the weekend watching the show. But what's really cool about that is while we might have spend our time watching SpongeBob or something else that's on the TV right now, she can, in a way, communicate with the Japanese culture, I guess you can put it, by watching this show and kind of seeing what they grow up with versus what we grow up with.
So using that, we can fast forward kind of a little bit into the future, where Esmeralda decided that she wants to study communications here at UCLA, which is one of the reasons why she's taking this course. She's not quite sure what she wants to do with it yet, but she's thinking about maybe going into teaching so she can use her communication skills to be a role model and help shape the younger generation, which I thought was really cool, and it gave me chills because like she inspired me to kind of be like that in ways. So through these 3 stories, you might not see how they kind of all come together, but they all had that central theme of communication. Like when she was little, she would communicate with her little brother through the silent and non-silent ways through the hide and go seek. Now she kind of watches this Japanese cartoon where she kind of communicates with the Japanese culture, and later on she wants to put her communication skills to the use to help teach the younger generation. So with that being said, I give you my study buddy, Esmeralda Lopez.
Thank you. Who hasn't given feedback yet in class today? Okay, here, please. What'd you like?
I'm Gary.
Hi, Gary.
I really like your speech. I like how you connected all 3 stories together. It's like one of the main thing you're trying to tell about Esmeralda, so that was pretty good.
Improvement?
Hi, Dion.
Hi, Dion.
Improvement, maybe you could, I love how you're animated, you know, very, definitely kept me and most of the class entertained. Maybe you can move like a little bit more at 3 steps, maybe get a little bit more relaxed, but overall it was really fantastic. Yeah, really enjoyed the stories. I'll make more of it.
Enjoyed your speech, Nellie. You used the phrase "you guys" a bit. It's a little friendly, I guess, but maybe too much, maybe too friendly. Your story about hiding the little brother was cute and quaint and illustrative, and you tied it to the theme of communication, and that was good. The present, the story that you got the gaffes from the cartoon, that's a lot of time to spend, but people spend their time the way they spend their time, be it listening to music or watching movies or whatever, so it was insightful into your study buddy what her interests were, so that was good. And then the future, I like the idea of the teaching and the role model, and so that all came through nicely. And I like the way you summarize and have a detailed summary and your tie back related to the link of communication. Yeah, you moved once, but then you didn't go back that way and then back to center. Your goal is to get over your stage fright, to speak coherently, and to talk at an appropriate pace. How did it go?
I hope I didn't go too fast. When I'm up here, the words come to me faster than it should come out, so I can't really tell until I watch it again.
Okay.
The stage fright, I think it's getting a bit better because I recognize more faces in the room. My problem's more when it's just like a one-time thing where it's a big audience. I kind of get a bit more nervous.
Yeah. Okay, I think you did a nice job, so you got it done. Thank you. Okay, our work is done for the day. Return with honor. Oh, my baby.